All right, meeting is called to order.
Oh, very nice.
So I guess the first agenda item is the roll call. So Chet Hill, he's not here.
Oh, okay. I can do this part.
Okay,
Chet Hill, he has an excused absence. Councilman Ray Tell,
Yes.
Vice Chair, actually, I'm sorry, I'm going to go this way. Ms. Rita Holmes.
Here.
Lisa Smerrick
here.
and Vice Chair Becker.
Here.
Okay.
Next item's approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve? Anybody got anything to say about them?
Well, I wasn't here.
Do I have a second? Okay, we got a motion and a second.
Lisa? Okay.
So you want to take the vote?
Oh, sorry. We can just do a voice vote.
Sounds good.
All approve, say aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay.
All right. And do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Don't move the agenda.
Voice vote?
Voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. And the motion passes.
All right, so let's call on Jenna for the staff report.
So I don't have very much, just a little bit of a update, in terms of we're having a Second Street, tour event, that's going to be coming up here February 22nd. We will be noticing it all around on social media and, in the city of Dexter, email listserv and, et cetera, probably putting some posters around town. And so what that is it's part of our master plan update that we're working on, with Carlisle Wortman. And, specifically looking at the corridor of Second Street, from Central to, Inverness, and trying to envision what could be for that street. In terms of, potentially more development, what kind of development, potentially it's single family homes, potentially it's, a little bit, like more units. And then also looking at the street itself, the corridor itself and the streetscape. And trying to envision, where more trees might go, where we might be able to widen the sidewalk, where we might want to narrow lanes, or, just to make that street a little bit more cohesive in the village. So
That's
that's
really
coming up.
barren.
Yeah, for sure. So we're doing it, regardless of the weather. So, so please do let people know about it. And there'll be more to come soon on it. Other than that, we're just very busy, as getting the CIP, the capital improvements plan together for planning commission and council. Still lots of zoning applications and the like, and having a good time. So
Yeah.
it is a good time. Okay, so that's my staff report. Site inspections, hopefully some of you were able to get out there. That's one comment that, I don't know if anyone's really talked to you about that at all. I think, people have said it's a good idea to do it, but it really is, you can go out, you can knock on the door, you can if you don't feel like doing that with a site inspection, you're concerned or whatever, You can feel free to contact me and I can contact the property owner and try to set something up for you on your behalf. But it is always a good idea to get to the property, the subject property, and to take a look at what the situation is. And as just a reminder, unfortunately, you just can't go with other people on the board. I'm happy to go with you if you so desire. And that's legit, but just not, being able to, because of Open Meetings Act.
Is it okay to go with my husband?
Yes, it is.
Make him drive me around?
Exactly. Is there any conflict of interest in today's meeting? Okay, seeing none. Sorry, I've kind of taken over for you,
Yeah,
Catherine.
I noticed, but it's fine.
But I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, I don't know. I think I'm going to turn it back over to you to talk about this case.
Okay. So we do have a public hearing today. The case is for 7915 4th Street. They are requesting a variance from section 11.09.c, which is the building form page in our zoning ordinance. In fact, I just had that up. I just wanted to.
Could you notate this is the opening of the public hearing and give it a time?
So I actually, the way that we work it is that we first discuss it. I just first present it. Then
Okay,
I open up the public hearing.
very good.
And at which point, Ms. Becker will note the time. Then we close the public hearing and then you have discussion. Okay? But that does remind me that I promised you that I would share the, information. So let me do that real quick. Oh, yeah. See? Okay. Okay, so the variance request is from section 11.09.c, which is the building form. The building, and that's because there is a side setback. They're proposing a side setback of their principal house, and I'll get into those details in just one moment. As 3 feet 7 inches to 3 feet 8 inches, because of the kind of like slant of the garage element of the proposed structure. And a 5-foot setback is required for the property. Now, taking a step back real quick, currently the garage is a detached garage. It currently has, so that means that it's an accessory structure. So in our ordinance, it has a compliant setback as an accessory structure, because accessory structure only needs to have a side setback of 3 feet. So because it's 3 feet 7 inches, 3 feet 8 inches, it complies. Now, what's happening though is that due to a situation with the stairs that I explained in the staff report, where they need to, and let me show you that quick. We have some photos right here. So you can see that here is the garage and here is the house. They were built very, very close to each other. And so these stairs that are in between the garage and the house here, this is the better picture on the bottom left here. the stairs that go up to the house are concrete and they're eroding and they need work. However, because of the building code requires stairs to be 32 or is
36.
it 36? 36. 36 inches wide. And they can't do that because the house and the garage are too close together. So that area, can't be repaired. The stairs can't be repaired. So their thought here is to basically attach. There we go. This is a good photo of this. But to attach the garage to the house and make that entry inside the garage so that they don't have to contend with this width issue. So basically the stairs are kind of wrapping around the corner, but inside the garage. So then this makes it a principal structure. So instead of there being the principal structure, which is the house, and the accessory structure, which is the garage, they want to attach both of them. So that makes it all a principal structure. But the principal structure side setback is a minimum of 5 feet. So now, even though the structure itself isn't moving anywhere, there's not new structure being built, it doesn't comply with the zoning ordinance because a principal structure needs to have a 5-foot setback, side setback minimum from the structure. In addition to that, and later on in the review, staff also determined that there is actually another variance that's needed as well. Unfortunately, that wasn't noticed to the public. So we will need to take that case up again next month, which the applicant's aware of, and we've discussed through it. And that's because they also need a combined setback on both sides of the house. So here, let me go back to our plot plan. In fact, he has it right here. So they need a combined setback. So that means here and here of a minimum of 15 feet. So now with let's call it 3.8 feet and 8.9 feet, that doesn't meet 15 feet. So it's basically a cleanup issue for next month based on the situation. So what I'd like to do now is go through the staff report. So as you all know, this is, basically our process now is to go through each of these, which is the criteria to determine whether or not there's a variance. I'll do that. And then, like I said, I'll open, or Catherine will open the public hearing. We'll see if there's anyone here to speak. And then we'll close the public hearing, and then you'll want to, in terms of process, you'll then want to make a motion, and then you can have discussion and then take a vote. I guess I'll stop just real quick and ask if anyone has any questions.
So the second request is going to be because it needs to be a total of 15 feet combined for setback. Okay.
Yeah,
And the county requires 36-inch for stairs. 32, is that what it is, the building department?
36-inch wide, yeah.
Right, well, obviously not going to move the garage or the house. All right, so, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so going through the criteria, which is in section 24.06.8 of the zoning ordinance. Practical difficulties. Staff states that the applicant has, expressed that maintaining the existing conditions of the garage which complies with the zoning ordinance as a detached structure, hinders them from being able to replace the stairs in the existing location. And the stairs are in need of repair, which you can see in the photographs that I provided in the packet. And that um, that that the restriction of a 5-foot side building envelope setback is unnecessarily burdensome in staff's opinion, since the existing setback, although less than 5 feet, wouldn't change, and the stairs do need to replace due to safety concerns. I should also mention that there is also an overhang issue, which I spoke about in the staff report. Basically, the situation there is that you can see best on these images here. If you see right here, this is a good photo. You can see that there's this kind of gutter that hangs off the garage. When people that are, taller than or at about that height try to get into the house, they do need to duck or, and
Man,
so
I hate that.
there's a safety issue, right?
I
know.
have beamed myself so many times on things like that.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we have had that issue. However, the gentleman whose house it is does have
Yeah.
that issue.
I'll tell you a story later.
Okay. Okay, so that's in staff's opinion, the practical difficulty. In terms of substantial justice, granting of this variance would do substantial justice to the applicant and property owner. And in this case, a lesser variance is not available. Extraordinary circumstance, I would say that the majority of properties in the city don't have a house and a garage that are built so close to each other. And if they do, then they don't have those stairs in between them. So I would say that it is an extraordinary circumstance. In terms of safety hazard or nuisance, staff states that they don't see one, especially because the actual house isn't, nothing is changing. It's still, the setback is, or the actual structure setbacks will not change. Relationship to adjacent land uses, the granting of variance won't impact adjacent land uses, again, because the structure setback is not changing. And you can see here that north, south, east, and west are all single-family houses in the VR, which is Village Residential 2 zone. So at this point, I'll turn it back to Catherine.
Okay, so shall we open the public hearing
Yes, ma'am.
at 7:18?
Want me to take it over?
So who wants to speak first?
Yeah. If there's anyone in the public to speak? Actually, yeah, okay.
Okay, well, I appreciate your consideration of this. Actually, I am very tall and that gutter is right about here when I walk out of the house. And I've been working with Kyle Marsh as an architect, and we were looking at all sorts of ways to try and figure out how to get an entry into the house to work around that gap. And it just made sense to incorporate the garage to the house and have an inside stairway going up into the house. That way we can avoid snow and the weather and ice and so on. It doesn't get much sun there. And so I'm hoping that we can work together to make this happen.
Well said, Ken. I'm Kyle Marsh. I live around the corner at 7880 Fifth Street. And yeah, the existing house, nice house, got a great garage, which has just been recently structurally, supported. So it's there to last a lot longer. It's got a nice side door out the side, but it is so close to the house. There's really no way to get this thing to work. And so part of the idea, as we were talking about it, and in fact, we tried to work a bunch of solutions that didn't require the connecting of the two, but it just, we're looking through it and it just made sense to try to connect the two. And then recently we were talking again, and Ken, you're getting older, you're about a year, and the fact that the stairs might be inside instead of outside, and this kind of icy thing is more and more attractive. So the other thing to note too is when it's an outdoor stair, it requires a 3x3 landing. So that would have to be outside of the construction itself. And so that kind of presented its own difficulty. So by having it inside, we could eliminate that landing, and it made the whole plan a lot more efficient.
Jean Hosford, and I live at 7910 Fifth on the corner of Dover. And so Ken is pretty much diagonally in my backyard. And it just seems like it's a good idea. The perimeter, basically the house and garage on the land aren't changing. It seems like it's like, I don't know, it seems like a good idea. I'm all for it. And besides which, I think the garage and the house are actually out of compliance with the building code, because you're supposed to have a 10-foot separation between auxiliary structures and main structures. So it seems that by incorporating the two, you're solving another problem.
And don't we have a letter from someone to read in?
Dan Schlaff, I believe.
Yeah, I was just about to add that. Yeah, so the only communication that we received was from Allison Puddick and Dan Schlaff, stating that they are also in favor of it. They were unfortunately not able to attend tonight's meeting. They support that he's trying to improve the home, make our community better. We understand the setback concerns, but given that the house was built and located a long time ago and lots vary within the city, we still welcome his improvements. And there's nobody online.
All right, so shall we close the public hearing?
That's
7:23.
great.
So would anyone like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. Let me see here. My motion would be to, let me see where that is.
You can motion to agree with the staff.
Yeah, in consideration of the information provided by staff and following a public hearing conducted by the ZBA on January 15, 2025, the zoning board of appeals determined the application for a zoning variance at 7915 4th Street meets the criteria required for granting the variance of a building envelope side setback of 3.7 to 3.8 in the VR2 zoning district pursuant to section 2406 subsection A. Therefore, let it be resolved, the ZBA grants the requested variance from section 11.09C building Form A house building envelope side setback 1 of 3.7 to 3.8 instead of the required 5-foot setback. This determination was made based on the following findings. And I want to say, where is that? The variance request is due to a practical difficulty. The variance would provide substantial justice to the property owner. Public safety and welfare would not be impacted with the granting of the variance. The variance request is due to an extraordinary circumstance. No safety hazard or nuisance would occur due to the variance, and the variance would not impact adjacent land uses. That's 6 separate ones. That's my motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
So do we need to discuss it or should we
You
just?
can open it up
Yeah,
to discussion.
you can open to discussion if anyone has anything to say. I would say I like it. It'll make it safer. Not only does it not create a safety hazard, it improves the safety. So,
Anyone else?
anyone else got anything to say?
I do.
Go.
The Whittier Village was originally platted, and then by the time the zoning ordinance came in, there's a lot of these types of issues in the old part of town. I've been over to your house when Mr. Stacy resided there, and I did notice that several times. This is obviously a vast improvement safety-wise because you get to enclose that. There's a garage access on the side, so that would be
Towards the center of the
right,
house.
and then you're just gonna extend the house right back to the thing and redo the top up there a little bit.
That is correct.
And it's difficult to follow the zoning, not the zoning, but the county request of 36 outside. We're not going to be able to spread it out. So based on that criteria and Dan and Allison's letter, which I was waiting for a letter from Dan to see if he did, and he did, I would, that's why I moved that motion.
So should we have a vote?
Okay, we'll do a voice vote. Lisa Smerrick,
Yes.
Councilman Ray Tell,
Just call me Ray.
Ray,
Yes.
Rita Holmes,
Yes.
and Catherine Becker.
Yes. So the
Yeah.
motion carries.
Motion carries.
Do we have any other business?
No other business.
So
And
we have a motion to adjourn?
Move it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Crickets.
Yeah, here, over here.
okay, the meeting is adjourned at 7:28 PM.
And we can expect another, it's
So we'll
too
do this
bad they couldn't
again
put
in a
them
month.
together.
Yeah, it is.
I hate for them to have to pay for another ZBA. Can we waive that?
Oh, yes, we waived it. Yeah.
Okay.